And yep, we're
And
there.
we are live.
Good evening, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank you so much, JD, for joining us this evening.
Oh, thanks for the invite, folks.
Indeed.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Cardoso Media, JD Quads, Mr. Gauss,
Kenny,
John C.
John
Welcome.
C.
Who else in this? Jim.
I'm here. Present and accounted for.
So, guys, welcome. Hopefully everyone got to go out and fly today. I actually did the go out and fly rig that I just put back together last night, and I decided when I've been wanting to go around the house and there's a big hole in the trees up here, so I've always wanted to go through where there's no trees and back up around. I actually did it today twice.
Nice.
Once I did good. The second time, instead of taking the same path, I did a twist and come back like this. Didn't see a limb up high, smacked me, flips me, rolls me all upside down in my goggles like this. I actually correct it, flip it back upright, and then I smack her bush out there and land over in the neighbor's yard. So a save and then a crash. Kev, I'm getting them prints out to you. What, Tuesday you said? I had to get on my shipping department, man. She's
What's up, Kev?
There's a lot going on.
John is going to put these standoffs here. Jack can do the rest tomorrow.
We got it all back up. Nice.
That toilet's broken. Daddy broke it this morning.
Oh, shame on you. So I still hasn't flown today. John, did you get to fly today?
No, not at all. No. Monday to Friday is a no-go. Absolutely no chance.
No go.
Next time for me is probably in about 5 hours when the sun comes up. But yeah, no, Monday to Friday. No, I don't, unfortunately. I wish I could, but it's just, no, I can't work. But weekends, yeah, that's it. I'm out. As long as it's not raining, I'm out.
I look over in the field every morning, and like, there's times I think, because I know you're up early as soon as the sun rises out there doing reviews and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, man, I want to go catch the sunrise so bad with the Phantom or something. And then it's like, well, and I talk myself out of it.
I did do last week, to be fair. I stayed in bed. I didn't go out all weekend. I just thought, you know what, I just can't do it. I just need to sleep. So I stayed in bed. The wife was happy. I looked at the weather and thought, oh, I'm missing beautiful sun. So I went out in the afternoon instead.
Ryan, welcome, RDF.
What's up, Ryan?
Yeah, you were just going to check out a few shops in your video. How long a day was that for you?
Which one?
He had
when you were in Devon.
He had like 8 cameras and like 7 drones. So.
Oh, that, yeah, I did. Whenever I go down the in-laws, I take a load of stuff with me. Normally, it's like 3 or 4 trucks, but as the trucks now are getting bigger, I can't fit them in the car. So it was 5 quads this time, and
that's it.
I flew 2 different cliffs, and just because I just wanted to experience it. And the no-fly zone is so close; it's about a mile out into the sea. So I had to just be careful where I flew, which is why I stay sort of around the cliff edge. But yeah.
Yes, Kev.
Mainstay. He hasn't tamed her yet. He's almost there with her.
Yeah.
That's something to get used to, though. Definitely the way that thing flies.
Like if the best way I could put it into words.
Love my drones.
If you've ever seen Gone in 60 Seconds and know that the relationship between Nicolas Cage and Eleanor, yeah, this is my Eleanor. Because every time I fly, something bad happens. But
so Kev, he flies. So you know how Mainstay flew, right? Well, of course, because you built it. But yeah, so he turns around, flies that, and then he flies Letty. So you know the difference in them two were like night and day. And that's how he got to where he was like, yeah, I got this bad boy.
I broke it. Yeah.
Oh,
What's wrong,
JD,
Grace?
please type something in chat so
He did
Ed
already.
can comment directly to you.
What's that?
Just say something in chat. Love my drones likes to have when he comments something to you, likes to put at you. So you can,
Hey, love
Okay.
my drones. How's it going, Ed?
Ed, did you fly today, Ed?
he said, type your bloody name, John.
Do you know what? Just for you, Ed, I'm going to type it.
He gets me
He asked
every
so
week.
nicely. Gotta love Ed.
At first, when he said type your bloody name, I was waiting for it to say Chris, and I was like, no, I have said something already.
To anybody else I haven't said hello to, hello. I'm useless at watching the chat. So I go
Yeah, you're
Always
fine.
got work to do.
Indeed, Ryan, that was a hell of a trade. Awesome. Richard Coggins, welcome.
Richard. Oh.
Yell in the house. You can't call him Lewis because that's the only when he wants charge.
Aruga.
So you got to call him
I can
Miguel.
also IRDFPV.
Only people call him Lewis is when they want something. So when he gets in trouble and stuff like that.
All right.
Kenny, that was an epic edit as always. But your town, dude, that's a nice shot. I saw like so you do that, and then Dano has done that to Richmond, and I thought that was so cool when you guys go down and film your city like that, and then edit it up like that. That is so awesome.
She won't look bad, Chris.
Nah, it's just taller. I mean, it'll still
Yeah.
fly. It'll fly damn near the same, just a little bit off, not much.
Yeah.
Just the center of gravity's up a little higher.
Yeah. Should be all right. Well, we got plenty of time to fix her since it's going to rain the whole entire weekend.
So how you been doing, Mr. Gauss? Hope all is getting better for you, brother. Well, not better, but I guess easier. I'd love to see you in a pair. And, well, but can't fly there. Oh, okay. Winnipeg, you can't fly there. Oh. My fluffy Portuguese.
So these camera wires.
Of me, I
But I
can't
guess
call
I
him
can
that.
always-
Sheesh.
Cheers, Ed. Appreciate that, mate.
Yeah, Kenny, you're kind of like on the ground with. You're kind of like a drone on the ground anyway. So you get those nice shots, and the edits, man, are just beautiful. I just like ever since I've been doing camera birds, it's like you got to have that eye to catch that shot. Kind of like you guys that do photography and what Crystal's getting into. You got to know, catch that, know what to shoot, I guess is what I'm saying. That good stuff. I got her to finally put her macro lens on the other day and go real close to a flower. She's still standing back like this. I was like,
I'm learning. Okay, there's the nude flyers. I'm the nude
Reaper.
photo.
It's a Crystal. Did you smell? Why are you calling me?
Ah! No, babe, you did not upset me, but Chris explained to me that I couldn't call you what I normally call you, so I had to improvise quickly.
It might be, Ryan. Next time we get together, we can solder like a capacitor or something that clean it up a little bit, make it a little better for you. Michael McReynolds, welcome.
Now to turn it on.
Hi, Michael. So, Chris, what
Yeah,
camera
Michael.
birds are you currently flying, mate?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What camera birds are you currently flying?
I have just got back into it. The 3DR Solo. I want to start mixing it up with like when I fly the race bird. So I want to kind of like get an overhead shot, and then kind of edit all that into like on the ground and going through the gates or whatever, or through the trees, whatever I'm doing. So I'm doing the 3DR Solo. The Inspire I just took out 2 days ago over here in the field, just an evening flight, just one out buzzing around about a half mile out away from me. I got to edit that up. But yeah, so my basic camera birds I still have, like the Inspire 1, Phantom 2, Vision Plus V3, 3DR Solo, and then the unique Q500. Well, no, actually they're all out there now.
I love how you say your basic birds, and then the first thing out of your mouth is the Inspire.
That is, you'd have to, I guess you'd have to fly that to understand that. That thing is, it takes time to set up. So you have to take it out of the box. You have to put the battery into it. You have to power the transmitter on, power the bird on. Then you have to raise the landing gear, so power everything back off. Then put the gimbal on. It's a setup, kind of. So I would actually choose to grab my 3DR Solo versus the Inspire 1, to be honest. And that's nothing to do with DJI or, no name, nothing there. That's just as far as convenient. Now, the fastest one that will link up is the Phantom 2. The Phantom 2 will jump right on and link right up. But I do it more of just the what is faster out in the field to set up, I guess. Jim, that bottle is like grinding, man. Crush your desk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. It was like a grrr, like whoa.
Yeah.
It's control panel. I don't want to click the wrong button here.
Ed said the Inspire is not exactly a basic camera bird.
I think John was trying to make that statement.
Yeah, whenever I talk about my basic bird, I'm like, you know what? The Spark. There we are. And then the first thing, my basic bird. Yeah, just the Inspire. Yeah, it's fine,
Well, yeah, so my basic, I guess, would be the 3DR Solo.
Yeah, that's such a great quad. I wish I had a chance to buy that when I did a few years ago. I should have bought it. That was such a lovely, lovely quad.
Yes, I haven't flown it in, well, probably better than a year. And when I took it out last week, no problems. Everything just booted right up. Satellites jumped right in. And now the Inspire standing in the same exact spot, I took it 21 feet up. It kept wanting to return home, signal lost. So that is like kind of, I think you really have to just be into something like that bird, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I still think even the money that it costs and the, I guess, class that it's in, it still isn't like what people think. Like, oh, you could drive that thing 34 miles away from you. Nah, it stays the basic. Actually, I think a Phantom 3 standard would give it a workout.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's shocking.
And I'm talking, well, if you take, minus the 4K that it's capable of doing. Like the only pluses I would say about it is it does 4K, which actually isn't a plus because most people can't render in 4K or watch in 4K, whatever. It's slower times and everything. So
yeah, absolutely.
That and the you can rotate the gimbal 360 degrees. Now that is really cool. I thought that was cool. Greg Swirlybird, welcome.
Is that 4K at 30 frames or 4K at 60?
I'm wanting to say 60. I thought.
Nice.
Really not sure on that. Now it'll let you zoom in. On Alvin, welcome, brother. It'll let you zoom in on like 1080, but 4K it won't.
Really?
So you can pinch the screen, actually zoom in. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's got some, I guess, favorites. I need to do like probably a review on it because I've actually flown it enough to actually give an honest review on it. But people really don't want to see that because of the money that it costs. The class that it's in, kind of.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even though it's a few years old, it's still goddamn expensive to buy.
It is. It is very well.
It's like the Matrice. It just holds its price so
yes.
well.
And I was at the multi-GP track one day, so I got it up here in the corner. They're all down there racing.
Nice.
One guy comes up, woo, boop. Because of the props are so big, it actually threw him away from it.
Good
very luckily.
That's a close one.
I thought I was going to have a, what was it? Man, I ain't watched them so long. The one with the dog. The RC Sailors. Remember that? Well, didn't they have the Inspire that went down? I think it was. One of them hit it or something with another bird. That's the only thing about your camera birds. Out in that environment. You want to capture. So what I've learned is stay down low and get way back. And then what you can do in your edit is zoom it in, but don't, you know what I mean? Don't get too far out where you can't bring it in and get a nice picture.
That's exactly that. Because what you got to take into consideration with any camera bird is you've got the quality. So you can really zoom right in. You can grab a small picture. You can bring that picture out. There's no point you bringing the quad in, keep the quad back, and then zoom in the edit. So that's exactly the way to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Because otherwise, you've got a $2,000 bird that's going to, get hit by something and end up crashing to the floor.
Yes, that would be ugly with that kind of money.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, Kenny.
Now, which do you prefer out of your camera birds right now?
That's a good question. Taking everything into consideration, I probably still prefer the Spark. If I still had the Phantom 3, the Phantom 3 would be on the top. But I think I still prefer the Spark, just because it's unopposing. It's very quiet. You can just bring it up and hang it back, and you haven't got to worry about any sort of motor noise covering whatever you're filming or anything like that. It's very, very good at being not noticed.
Right.
And just because as well, I've had it for so long, I know the battery, I know the quad in and out, I know the issues I've had with it. I know a lot about that quad. The next one, it is. It's the Spark. It is. It's run away the Spark. It is.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Now, out of your new ones, the Zeno or the F11?
Oh, the Zeno, hands down. Hands down. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm gonna get so much flack for this tonight. I am. Any of you Hubsan haters, feel free to troll me now, just so we can get on with the serious conversation in about 10 minutes. So if you want to troll me, feel free, troll away, and then in 10 minutes we'll carry on.
Good luck, JD.
Troll gates have opened.
But that Hubsan, man. Oh yeah. If there was ever a quad I wanted to hate, it was that.
But it apparently changed your mind.
It did. I thought it was going to be okay in the flight, and then I thought that it was gonna fail on the waypoints, and then I thought it was gonna fail on the active track, and then I thought it was gonna fail. It just kept on not failing, and I got really annoyed that it just kept on working.
Plummet.
Yeah. I for the minute, I just plummet. Hubsan sucks. You've been trolled. Cheers, bud. I mean that's the thing. I don't know. Yeah, I just think it's great.
And I've been there, so that's the same thing. Like I don't know, kind of like the Ghost drone that I just did. So I just got that. I did mine, but this is the first one I've done with FPV. So I was like, this thing is, well, I got Crystal to film it, from like a third person view. And I was like, it's not going to be what I expect. I don't think. I picked it right up. Just being just angle mode kind of is a little different. So I had the camera pitched up kind of like this, just because it was angle mode. I could go ahead and get good pitch onto it. But I was actually flying it all around the bush and all that. I didn't go through the trees and all because I didn't want to take a chance on hitting and breaking an arm or something. But
it's quite wide, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is quite wide.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's big. Yeah.
They're 9-inch propellers on it.
That's as big as my bare bone quad over there. The big thing.
But then when I flown it with the goggles, it was like I had fun with it. It was like, okay. So yeah, I know what you mean by when you're waiting to be disappointed, but then it's like, oh.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think in the videos as well, I was trying to just find bad things about it. Oh, it's moved a bit in the wind. Well, yes, it would. It's the wind. You know,
Right.
just everything. I was like, oh yeah, maybe that's a bit too quick. Shut up, John. What are you talking about? You know, yeah, no, that really did take me by surprise. Really did.
Yeah, great.
And the packaging as well. It's just fantastic. But
Jerry Calvary, welcome.
Hey, Jerry, how's it going, buddy?
Yep, Greg, that's the Ehang V1. He said floss or ghost drone, Chris. Oh man, my floss all day over that ghost drone. Not unless you're talking about the ghost. What is it? The ghost one that Night Train has. He has a raced one. Drawing a blank on it now. Trying to think who does it. His ghost builds, I forget. RC Addict, I think, is the frame designer or whatever. Mode 2, that's what it is. Mode 2 Ghost. Now that versus the floss, I don't know, but this Ghost versus the floss, we'll go with the floss all day. Watch your toes. I don't want to run your toes over. I've taken a real good liking to this one here. It's kind of got a little dirt on it, so I know he was. But yeah, all day long, I fell in love with this thing. It's like flies so great. I'm thinking I got a Hyperlite flight controller I could put into it, Hyperlite motor, so I could have a whole Hyperlite rig and then see how much better it flies. But right now I got the Coquette F4 into it. Not happy with it. Gives you some motor twitching. I've tuned it out as much as I can, but I still pick it up every now and again. I notice when I fly, I'll have the, and you might see it in the GoPro just a little bit. So,
what one is that, Chris?
This is the Hyperlite Floss Flow Rider. Kebab FPV. Are you familiar with him on YouTube? That's his frames. So really, really nice. I mean, super lightweight, and it's something about he took a lot of time on designing his frames and worked with a lot of, people on getting it to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of is hard to understand, but when you take a regular, just your average frame, I say I run a lot of clone frames. I'm into them. I'm into the $35, $40 Amazon frames, and I have been doing really well with them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take something like that, they fly like good, but this thing here, it's just something about the carbon, and it's like I can punch up and dive a tree and I can just let off the stick and this thing will just gradually drop itself to the ground. And I mean, it's so weird how you get to see the difference in the carbon when you start messing with these guys. It's like you're like, okay, a frame's a frame, but it's really not. It's kind of so like odd, but it's fun to have the different frames and to go through the different ones and see the different characteristics of them.
Yeah. What's that weighing with the battery? What are you running that on? 4S or 5S?
I run this on 4S, and it comes in with the GoPro, everything, the session, fully loaded. I think it was in right around 600.
Nice. Oh, that's a nice one.
Because they're I think it's 680 grams, and I was still falling in way under that, so that was pretty good.
Nice.
Wait. I like a heavier one, to be honest with you. I like it to be honestly at 680 or something like that. Well, because that's how I learned, and I used to just punch and throw the drone down the throttle, throw the drone, and then because at that moment when you punch and throw the drone, when I first started, it was hard to make moves. It was hard to know where I wanted to go. So when I started throwing the drone, then I got like this much time to decide which way I want to roll out of it, flip down, and twist out of it. So I just started working together with me with that. And so the heavier drones, when I get a light one and I punch it, it's just like, whoa! It's like it kind of throws me off a little bit.
The heavier as well, especially when you're flipping and you're twisting out, you need to have some sort of resistance against the wind. And
yes,
the lighter quads don't have that.
Right. He's a drone thrower.
Hey, Brian.
FPV, welcome. But I have been dragging myself off into this side of things, and it is the drone network, so that's why we're wanting to mingle with some, well, you do everything, because I know you got race birds also, right?
Yeah, I got loads. Yeah, I got, hang on. Yeah, so There's one to hand.
Oh yeah.
That's
See you, Kenny.
brilliant on 5S. It kicks me in the ass every single time on 5S. Because
So
of
is
course
that-
I don't fly them FPV. I fly them line of sight.
Oh, that's the Yep.
That's the 30B.
Oh, the Furby. Okay, I was. That
Uh,
almost looked like a
30B.
frog there for a
What was
minute.
it? 30B Fire Dancer.
Okay. Okay, the fire dancer. I got you.
Yeah. My tilt rotor.
Oh, sweet. Check that out. Night, Kenny. Thanks for hanging out, brother. So that one move. Your motors move. Oh, look at that. I bet you that thing is a blast to fly. So it moves like a hummingbee.
It
A
moves like-
hummingbird.
It does indeed. And do you know what? That was probably the hardest one I think I've ever flown because there's no pitch. The body stays totally flat.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's what people were saying. They're like twisted to fly because of the way it moves.
That's it. Yeah, it's
Cool thing.
crazy. But as soon as you get hold of it, I tell you what, this thing is immense amount of fun. Immense amount of fun. I got a couple of
Drone reviews. Kenny, I was going to say Kenny. OG, welcome.
and I
But
just a
yeah,
couple
that's
of
why we want to try to
65 mils.
get more into the bring more to the camera birds to the channel, back because we used to do a lot of it. Well, I was into the camera birds at once. Well, I went from the toy grades of the camera birds to the
Yeah.
FPV and stuff like that, but like to mix it up and kind of I did the wing and but that's
Oh, that was brilliant.
that's still FPV, but I actually put 4S on that now, and turned the prop back a little bit, so
Yeah.
it actually runs pretty good.
Have you got used to that? Because that, if I remember correctly from the video, wasn't that reversed?
Yeah, that was reversed. Yeah, I went ahead and got all that changed around. Now everything's right the way it was. EBR, welcome. PD Tech, welcome.
PD Tech, hello Phil.
Tech.
Brian, hello mate.
Chicken wing.
Chicken wing.
So, what is your opinion on the F11?
The F11, I like the F11. You see, the F11 is a nice little quad. What I've come to learn with the SJRC is if you want a quad that all the features work, don't get an SJRC.
Good advice.
At least he's honest.
I like SJRC for one reason and one reason only. Two reasons. The GPS module never fails, and it flies so well. Every single SJRC I've had, and I've had 6, they've all flown very, very, very well. Cornering is fantastic. The quads just work extremely well until you want to try and use the features, and then it's just about as good as a bag of honey badgers. It's just they just fall apart at that point. Then I mean, the waypoints work. Any sort of gesture, as far as I'm concerned, it's a gimmicky feature that doesn't work. Any sort of active track with the SJRC, I've never had any luck with in anywhere. If I'm flying in my usual field, if I'm flying in Devon, wherever I am, I've just never had that much luck with it. But as a solid GPS quad, I think they're great. I really do. But as soon as you want to use the features, yeah, just bring it down and turn it off, take the battery out.
Now you say SJRC. Is that anything to do with the JRC company that was before making a lot of the toy grade ones, or?
I don't know. They sort of, I may be wrong with this, but they sort of just came from nowhere, I think. So it may have been another brand that did rebrand, perhaps.
Yeah, probably.
They seem to have. I mean, the very first one I had was that one, and it looks quite familiar, but
Yeah.
I don't know of what. I mean, the quality of it now is very thin plastic. At the time, I thought it was great because all the quads pretty much felt exactly the same, but it reminds me of a JJRC quad. Maybe even a SEMA quad, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. They did have a JJRC in that style. I'm trying to think what it was.
And then they've just evolved. I mean, the SJRC F11 now has been rebranded as MJX 4W.
Hold it up again. Let me see the battery bank.
Which one?
We are looking while I'm building. Sweet.
The S30.
See the battery bay.
Got a proprietary. Looks like.
That almost looks like a Holy Stone rig.
Almost, yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I know I've seen one out like that.
But again, even this, which was £50, has GPS. And
Oh wow.
even though the gimbal didn't work for me at all, the camera was pretty appalling, but it flew remarkably well.
Gotcha.
Fred.
Well, that's impressive that it's got GPS. A little one like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the whole reason I went for it, because I thought, you know what, I'm never going to have that again for that price. So I just thought I just take a shot at it and see what it was like. And the flying, it's amazing. 3-speed modes, banks extremely well, corners well. No problem with it dropping as it positive pitches.
PD Tech says the Holy Stone H100. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like the H100 was the S20, the SJRC S20. Please wait, caller. Is
JD's quads in the house. We have JD quad and JD's quads.
that's the H100,
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
but that's SJRC's version.
Major difference.
He's in the house.
Okay.
So
What's up, Jack?
What do you think?
Works really well. Cool.
there we are. Just wrecking stuff. Hey, JDS quads.
I remember when I first started, I kind of didn't even have my table behind me. I remember seeing your whole area, and I was like, I don't know how he does it. Yeah, I kind of don't now.
Now look at you. Do you know what? Really funny. I tidied all this up and I was so impressed. I got everything off. I got some new racks built. Everything looked fantastic. And now a fortnight in, and do you know what? It looks awful. It looks terrible. It's gone back to exactly how it used to look. That's why I've angled the camera up a bit so you can't see it as well.
Mine's actually pretty clean tonight.
Yours is really good.
Pretty wrecked here lately. Because I had the ghost drone here, I had a bunch of other stuff there working on it. Now I'm finally catching up and getting all of it done and out. So that's a good thing.
See, I honestly wish I was a tidier worker, but I just like stuff everywhere. I find it calming.
You can find things better because I notice when I clean everything up, that's when I lose things.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's clean. You can't find anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You know where it is. That's all that matters.
Huckleberry got wall goodies, bro.
We have the carpet work that we have to carry around, and we're not allowed to set any of our tools, sockets, adjustment wrenches on our bench. We have to keep them on the roller cart right now.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It is the best way of working if you think about it, because no accidents can happen. Everything's nice and clean and clear.
Right. The table, they call it FOD, which is foreign object debris, and they have to write a pull ticket on it, and it goes to management. Yes.
Jeez.
Wow. It's the aerospace.
Yeah.
I work in aerospace, and they're very, very meticulous about their stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
And you used to be a mechanic, so you used to just throwing your tools around, is that right?
Right. No.
There's a neat organization and then there's a messy organization.
Okay.
I know what it's called. JD's, what's up, brother? I one night he come in, I actually said JD quad, like it didn't even. I want to go out and say JD's quads, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you put an S on it.
Yeah, right, Huckleberry.
It's called an organized mess. There you go.
Organized chaos.
That's it.
That's exactly what it is.
It's fun to work, to get the work, you know, and do it and all. But then when you kind of get a bunch in at one time and get yourself backed up on it. And it's like it's a job, but it's something, you know, I love to do and whatnot. So now I'm like catching up. That's good to get that ghost drone done and get it back to his name's actually Brown Bomber on YouTube, Fred. So he lives in Philly. So get it back to him, and he used to fly airplanes, so he's getting in. Yeah, I got to go into it and tune a little bit of it out. Like it wants to just spin around, so I got to put some eye in the yaw, and it'll stop it from spinning around. But Birdman, welcome, Mike.
Birdman, what's up, man?
Hey, folks.
So do you have the Mavic? Any of the DJI Mavics?
No.
Okay.
No, I borrowed the Mavic Air when it first came out, and I liked it. And then everybody went, "Yeah, that's terrible," and I went, "Yeah, thanks then." So
Right.
I quite liked it. I never flew the Mavic Pro. I thought the Air was quite nice. It reminded me of the Spark. I always thought it should have been called the Spark 2, not the Mavic Air. I
Gotcha.
expected something a bit more mighty for the Mavic
So
Air.
how would you think from you flying that and then flying the Xeno? How close do you think they are?
Oh, not very. Not very. I mean, the Xeno itself it's good for what it is. It really is good for what it is.
Okay.
It's when as soon as you calibrate and you take up a DJI drone, you are 9 out of 10 times going to see that thing, even up to 15-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to lock itself, and you're going to see very minimal movement, and you're going to know that the quadcopter is held really, really well.
Gotcha.
The Xeno moves. I mean, it doesn't move that much. It doesn't seem to be as locked in. The GPS module doesn't seem to be, even though you've got 16, 17, 18 satellites bound, it doesn't seem to be as locked. So
Okay.
even though I've got no concerns about it flying off or about it falling from the sky or about anything like that, if you put them side by side, and I've had my Spark and I've had my Xeno side by side, and you can see one is moving around and the other one is locked in.
It's locked. Okay.
Absolutely. And I think if Hubsan took the time to actually meticalize, or to actually, that's not even a word. Do you know what? I'm going to coin that. It's 20 to 1 in the morning. Yeah, so sod it. Yeah, if they actually took the time to sort out the firmware and actually rid it of all bugs, then I think they could get that to be just as nice. Maybe not 100%, but I reckon they could
Right.
get it close.
Brian OG has a good point. He said the Xeno doesn't have optical flow. That's why it drifts. Very good.
Yeah, it
point.
doesn't. It
That
doesn't.
makes sense.
Okay.
At the same time, you don't expect much drift from GPS quads either, with or without optical flow. I
Right.
mean, you're still locked into a particular altitude. You still have longitude and latitude locked in, so therefore you shouldn't have a lot of drift.
Right.
Yes, optical flow will most certainly lock you into a path, but even with optical flow, you still see drift because you still
I
got
just
that.
Question, because I think a lot of people, like me and Crystal's heard back and forth different people, and we think that's where they try to compare it to the Mavic, and they say it's a Mavic killer, and I think then when they buy it and they see someone else with it, and they're just like, that thing isn't no Mavic, you know. And I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where they go wrong. If they would just buy it and let it represent itself instead of
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think.
point too.
Sorry, bud.
It's in a totally different price point, so how can you really compare it?
This
that's
is
what
the
I'm
thing.
saying.
A lot of people nowadays they see something and they want to compare it straight away. Not everything is built to be compared. I mean,
Sure.
I've done a few comparisons over the years, and people have said, "Well, why have you compared those two together?" Well, because it seemed like a crazy thing at the time. Why not? But just because this comes out at a cheaper price point and looks quite familiar, like a DJI quad, you should not compare that to a £1,000 quad. You
Right.
know,
Of course.
I mean, just for a start, the Mavic Air's lenses, if you want to just, take it down to a very small part of the quad, the lens in the Mavic Air is far superior to the Hubsan. The image processor unit is far superior. The computations per second are much higher. So therefore, your both quads, automatically your Hubsan is much lower now than your Mavic Air. Than your Mavic Pro. Yeah, don't try and compare everything.
Yeah, that would be like me going out and comparing, I guess, Inspire to like the.
A Spark.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
Is that a bad one, actually?
I think from what I've heard about the Spark just may give it a run for its money on range and everything. I mean, it's that thing. That's what I'm saying. That thing doesn't do like what everybody thinks it does. It still would need, the beefier antenna system and stuff like that to go do, because it's like a news media. They're not going to be standing there filming something 3 miles out. They're going to get within a vicinity of it, film around themselves and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. It's great taking a quad out to 3 miles, but if you don't have the battery to come back, you're pretty screwed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's nuts. Welcome. True Drone Refuse says, oh, wait a minute, he's talking to JD's quads. Okay. See, I see JD.
Bebop 2 is great. Bebop 2 is do you know what? Sorry, I might come across quite aggressive now at the second, and I don't care. The Parrot, they need to sort their stuff out. They really do. That is a fantastic. They brought quadcopters to consumers. They were the company that decided, you know what? Let's bring out the AR drone. Let's make it something. And then they decide to pull out of the consumer market. I'm still quite annoyed at them for that. I really am.
Oh, you want your fourth cookie?
I think they should be doing a Bebop 3 at least, or at least a 2.5 or something. I know they've done the Anafi and whatever else, and the Anafi's great, but I still think they should do another Bebop. I really do.
And they've just come out with the Anafi Thermal.
Oh yeah, they have. Hey, I'll shut up then.
That just came out, I think, April 15th. So who knows? Maybe they will.
Yeah, I think to be fair, they are concentrating on the higher end of the consumer market, aren't they? They're going for like the 600 to £1,000 quad. Sort of market.
Right. I have seen the Bebop 1 and the Bebop 2, and I thought they were tremendous footage.
Yeah.
Especially the Bebop 2. Like, there's no gimbal, no nothing. Everything's built in. That I thought that was beautiful. Bird in the Hand, Simon. I remember when he first got his and he did those cliffs. I'm telling you what, that was even me having a 4K bird, and I am eligible to download and watch in 4K because Russell runs a gaming computer with a 4K monitor. I'm telling you, it's still, I could watch his footage of what he uploaded like 1080 or whatever he did, and then versus that, and he's still, it was hard to compete with that. I mean, that was beautiful. And I've always liked them, and I will eventually get a Bebop. I think a Bebop 2 is what I'll eventually pick up. I like the big sky controller type thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. When I bought the Bebop 1, because Heath, the RC hunter, when he said, JD, just buy one. And I managed to track one down, and I managed to buy one. And I paid well too much for it. You know what? I could have just bought a Bebop 2, but I just thought I'll start off with the 1. And the sky controller.
Have you ever done anything with the disco?
With
the wing?
Sorry, I got far too excited then. Yeah, do you want to ask me that again?
Have you ever had the chance to fly the Parrot Disco?
Yes.
I like the first version better.
No, because Richard Conklin said he'd like to see an updated Disco.
Oh yes, 1,000 times yes. That thing is the only time when I've flown a fixed wing that I thought, do you know what, this thing is too loud. That is such an amazing 45-minute battery life.
Wow.
I'd show you, but it's up in the attic. It is an amazing fixed wing. Same camera as on the Bebop 2. 45 minutes battery range. Okay. AI. It's got its own piece of equipment called the Chuck, and inside there has a GPS module. As soon as you hand launch it, it goes up to 60 meters and flies a 60-meter circle around you. It's brilliant. It has its own return to home function as well.
I'll be droned. Welcome.
It's fantastic. Really.
Yeah,
really.
I watched
what's up?
Dustin Dunhill. Watched him when he done it. How he would throw it up and that thing just circle him, and he actually lost one, right? I think he took one so far out and it just never return home or something.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, he ended up modifying it massively, didn't he? And
Yeah, I was
whacking,
gonna
whacking a 4G receiver on it, and then taking it 3 miles out. I was sitting on my laptop just screaming, "Yeah, go for it, man!" It looked fantastic.
Jay Drone, welcome.
Hello, Jay Drone.
Hi. But yeah, so that's what everyone, when they saw my wing, they was like, "Oh, is that anything like the Disco?" I'm like, no GPS, but that I thought that was a cool feature. Just launch it and it goes up in circles and waits for you to get ready. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I punched mine once and it did 50 miles an hour, about 47 mile an hour. And you know what? That thing just eats up sky. Just eats up sky. You need to have such a big place to fly that.
Right.
It's very impressive, that thing is. Are you going to get one? You should get one. Get one. Buy one.
No pressure.
I will
no pressure
maybe
at all.
eventually get hold of one. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're
I
great.
miss
I love
flying
them.
mine. I want to go out on the. I like flying it on the still, real calm still days, because when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get the wind, you just get a lot of this and bouncing.
Well,
and
This may change your mind. You can rebind the Disco to another transmitter, and it enables acro.
Oh
Uh-oh.
God.
Uh-oh.
actually, I seen
Oh God.
was he in UK or Australia that actually flies it? He does pretty good with the Disco. He comes down, goes under the trees, back up and around and stuff.
Who's that?
I don't remember his name. I've seen it a while back with the Disco. He's actually probably I think the better one I saw fly it, as far as in like a kind of, maybe he was an acro, I don't know, kind of like that mode, kind of just going up, circling around and going like real high up long distances. He was just like, he was flying it like a race bird. He was coming down low, going in trees and all. And what the name's like on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember if that's him or not. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
I've seen a few people fly them on different transmitters and take them over mountain ranges. They've got a stupid range to them. Incredible. They really are. Well, they were built for ordnance survey, for mapping areas at altitude.
Right.
You know, and then they got, because they were like $1,500 when they first came out. And then they just, because nobody was buying them, they just kept on lowering the price until they found, a niche point where people would buy them.
Gotcha.
But they're fantastic. And again, the camera has got full 360-degree movement, so you can move it around in there.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's pretty cool.
Such a good thing. Such a good thing. Jerry, meet JD Quad. Jerry, this is JD Quad. Hello, Jerry.
Who's that? He said, "Who's the guy with the high energy? I love this guy." Whoop Killer Carbon T8SG. Not much, but I got stuff coming. Sweet. Killer Whoop. I've seen them. So they have them out now with 3S. I'm thinking, don't they? They run the whoops on 3S now, don't they?
They're, yeah, the Cinewhoops, most of them are free.
Crazy 3S on a whoop. Gone so, like the 2S whoops are amazing. Like the Beta 75X, that thing is like buttery smooth. The Mobula, I'd say yeah, after with the V3 frame and XT30 connector and soldering your motor wires, get rid of the little white JST connectors, then that thing is a good contender with some Gym Fan props.
I got a 4S.
Oh, you got a 4S whoop killer. Sweet. Yeah, I kind of. If I'm going to stick 4S on it, it's going to be a 5-inch. Well, I say that, but I've had 3 inches. I just actually tore apart a 5-inch 3S that I was running. A 5S 3-inch. I said that backwards.
We know what you meant.
5.7 is the ish.
Sure about that?
I know what he meant.
2-inch. What's up, brother?
Grace.
Hey, I'm sending them mounts out Tuesday for you. My shipping department's been a little slow
I've been
on me.
slow. I'm sorry.
Got them all sitting over here. Actually, I'll show you. What?
I taught my dad with my dad.
Okay.
So 2-witch FPV is the one that Richard created this awesome design for me. So the Immersion 230 Mojo, they have a GoPro 7 mount for it, but it only, think about as wide as this, and think about the mount just coming up. So your camera was all exposed, all from here out and from here out. So 2-witch FPV, he was telling me he had one, and then he said he was thinking about getting rid of it. He said if he could get a mount for it, he would keep it and fly it. So this is the GoPro 5 Black reviews. Thank you, brother. So I went ahead and made it, work. And I mean, it flies great. Like the weight, I thought it would be a lot of weight. I also thought with that pitch, that camera leaning back that far, you wouldn't see nothing. With Super View, it still sees the ground in front of it, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
An amazing view, yes. So if anybody's got the Immersion 230, you want to get that mount, hit me up.
That's a lovely looking quad.
It is. I really do like it.
I think it's that rounded front for me, where the
Yeah.
camera inlay. That's just
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah, you have-
Mojo FPV, welcome, brother. He's
Weekly RC. Hey, Paul.
Homie Paul, you're good, brother.
Homie Paul, what's up? Welcome. Did I miss anybody else here?
Mojo Joe.
Oh, so the Disco has Dragon Link in it? Oh, he said unless you use something like Dragon Link. Okay. I'm going to say, whoa, that thing would be crazy range. Yeah, it is a tank, ain't it? It's actually, well, with the pack on it is heavy. It's a much heavier. But still flies great. This one's actually signed by Tony Cape.
Sweet.
Got a piece of tape over top of it, so it doesn't fade it off. It faded off a little bit. What did I trade? I traded RDFPV
Vampire, welcome.
Charpoo. It's a Lumineer Charpoo 210 frame. I put a racing pod on it and all that, so we swapped up for this.
Yes, you. Nothing.
Oh, J-Drone got a whole house full of drones. I like when he used to go in a room and just sit in the middle and there's just drones all around him.
Good night, Phil.
He could open up a freaking drone store in PA for sure. Good night, PD Tech. Appreciate you hanging out. Vampire, welcome. What's up?
I got my feet up on the chair, so don't run them over.
House shed storage area.
This is what I've been playing with some long range with. So it's got a RXSR receiver into it, and I've been out better than a quarter mile away from myself. No GPS or nothing. In acro. Yep.
In acro, you're a brave man.
In acro.
No, he's
That's
in the
amazing.
same band.
Hey, and so I turn around, I start coming back, I see a tree, so what do I automatically do? Woo!
Oh no! Dive it. Sweet.
Yeah, it's fun, believe it or not, just to go out there and cruise around. I have a buzzer into it,
Yeah.
and even if the battery gets ejected, it'll still beep. So I want to put Crossfire onto it and stuff like that, and then exceed the range.
Amazing. How far do you reckon you're going to get out of it then?
Well, I know that the RXSR have been told that it will go a mile with no problem, but as soon as you get into that mile marker, you start to get a lot of latency. So I kind of won't push it that much. So I'm thinking if I could take this and go cross, I already want to cross the one highway from where I fly. So if I could go all the way over to the other highway, if I could dive that cell phone tower that's over by that red building, I would be happy with the stock receiver in this.
Amazing.
Yeah, what type of battery pack are you running in that?
I am running, when I do that, I'm running a 2200 milliamp hour 4S 35C discharge.
Okay.
So yeah, I do need to upgrade the pack and get a bigger pack for it, and it'll hold it because this is the longer frame. So I mean, you can get a really nice battery on there. You put the little 1300 milliamp hour, it stops here, and it's just like
Yeah.
you have so much more room for it. But that's what I've been having fun with. I love flying it, just going out there cruising around the field and way on the outer edges and stuff. What is that? And they're getting using that.
I had used the last one.
I got my iPhone.
Cooking and pizza.
Get ourselves. He said we should email Gmate ourselves, bro.
What pizza you cooking, LRC?
Yes, Mojo. I'm running the 230. Yes, it's running Brother Hobby Returners, and yes, they're stock. Cooking pizza, Alvin's. Nice. You sharing?
What pizza? What pizza?
Crossfire's your next move. I hear you. I could set that up for Crossfire, I think, for roughly around $80 because I get the module. You find a coupon, you get the module for like $50, $55, and then $30. The receivers are $30, Crossfire receivers. And I don't want to put all them on that, so I don't even want to count by 30s by putting.
Oh gosh.
That's a lot of money. I remember when I went from Fly Sky to FR Sky, I just got most of my birds up and running on the Fly Sky, and I turned around and changed to FR Sky. Bad mistake. It took me months to actually have more than 2 birds, I think, on it. Ed actually sent me my first FR Sky receiver. Love my drones.
You said 80, I think, Empire.
What was your reason for changing, Chris?
Huh?
Just out of curiosity, what was your reason for changing from Fly Sky to FR?
Basically peer pressure from the people I fly with.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
Well, that and I did have an incident with Fly Sky, and I know it was just because it was a 911 tower. It was a tower, and it has this crazy looking dome, like pointed dome thing on it. We didn't realize at the time, but that's a 911, tower to bounce the signal. So
Yeah. Oh, wow.
it kind of that's my intro that you see where I punched up off that table, and you see E-drones like what? And so that's what happened that day. I lost. You get up so high with FPV, you get into a I can't remember the proper term for it, but you get into like something that you'll lose your FPV. It just goes black on you because you're up so high. And so I did that, and then what happened was I was like, oh shit! So I took the goggles off, and I'm like this, and I can fly line of sight, so I'm like this, and I'm bringing it back over. It was way over college roof, so I bring it back over, and I get it like right here. It gets 150 feet up. It just fail safe straight to the ground, right on asphalt.
It was a
Wow.
It was the TBS source one. It busted it to hell and back. But so between that and then just everybody I hang out with, they're just like, man, you need to get on FR Sky. The Tyrannosaurus is so much better, so much better.
Yeah.
When are you going to get it? When are you going to get it? When are you going to get it? So then Russell, I think, was working with them, so he turns around, buys it for me for my birthday. So
It's hard at that point. It's hard to say no, isn't it?
and I still like the Fly Sky i6. It's something about that radio. I can just grab that radio and just like work with it. But
Yeah.
I like the QX7. It was well worth the trade. Not at first when I had to put receivers and everything, but once I got straight and got everything, I think I'm good now. That's why I don't want to go. I want to go Crossfire. I was going to try the R9, but then I hear like up and downs about it. Like some say it's great, some say no. Like Night Train, he uses it and he says he don't get far away from himself. He notices the latency, so it would kind of be crazy to spend money in that direction, I guess, after the more or less reviews I've heard of it. So probably Crossfire and probably just on that 6-inch Chameleon right now. Probably later on down the road, throw it on the wing maybe.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Nice.
Because that's
URT. Sorry, mate.
I said, that's just some foam. If it goes down, E6000 and it's back together.
So you are taking the wing out more then?
Yeah, I want to, especially now that it's warming up and we're getting more still flat, calm days instead of the wind blowing 90 mile an hour. Yeah, so I want to get that out and buzz that around. And that has a receiver in it that is a can't remember the model of it, but that thing, if I'm not mistaken, that should outrange the RXSR and the XM Plus. So that wing should go. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to push the wing next time I fly a half mile away from me over to that red barn and back, and I think it'll do it well. I have to crank. I got the TBS Unify VTX into it, so I can pump that up to like 600 or 800 milliwatts. And I'm actually going straight across field. I'm not going across nothing that will, well, the channel I run's like R3, so I'm not like interrupting any kind of signal or from any kind of emergency thing or anything,
Yeah.
All
Plus you're
field.
not going to have any interference at that point either if you're just going straight over fields.
Yep, and that's the good thing about it, because I have the property and all to do that, just to take it out and just run it. So I thought, why not try it? Get into it, and you have to be careful with it. Battery management, kind of like our camera birds. I mean, you know that you take camera bird out and don't care and just keep going. You're going to get to that point where you're going to have to go find it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fortunately, I haven't done that yet, but I probably will at some point. But yeah, it's hard though, because you end up looking at it line of sight, and then you end up looking at it FPV and line of sight FPV, and then you look at the battery, you think 20%. God damn it, bring it back! And your initial reaction is just to floor it, but you can't because your battery will just drain. So bringing it back, be slow, going, please don't die, and you're trying to act cool. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be well in your head. Your little goblin is thinking it's going to crash. You're going to run out of battery.
Stopping by. I'll put an XCO. Got almost extra. Oh, cool beans. They put 2250s. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Have a good one. Have fun hanging out with the kids.
Sorry, guys. Grace was in the mirror singing and dancing and turning around. I had to keep the camera on her. It was hilarious. I was laughing so hard.
Okay. What's up? Yeah, I tried the jumper. I tried to get into the jumper, but I don't know. Something different about the jumper just didn't grab me.
I can tell you one thing. Me and that T12 did not get along. I hated that damn thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I love the jumper. I think the jumper's brilliant. But then again, I've only ever flown 2 quads with it and controlled 1 car with it. So maybe I just haven't used it enough. But it's nice. I love the thing for me was just having 1 transmitter where I could have everything paired to that one. Because for the minute I've got the i6, the i6X. 2 i6X, 1 i6. I've got another one then for my cars. I've just got far too many of them. So I just wanted one where I could bind everything to it and just be done with it.
Right. And that was my idea when I actually got it. Actually, Mike has mine. I actually had the first one I had was way better than the second one I got a hold of. I had the, I think, D3 version of the T8 SG one. And that thing I liked. Like, that thing was okay. It was, but when I went to try to, I think it was flash it, the newer firmware or something, so I could work the bugs off of it, it was kind of wonky about that, going into the deviation. Yeah. I done all the steps trying. It was just something with it. It just didn't want to click and work. But so yeah, I ended up trading it to Mike for, I think we traded a Hubsan or something for it, wasn't it? Yeah, 501S, I think it was for it. So I ended up, I think, trading that later on off for something else, and I still have my Hubsan wall back here though. I have the 501 SS.
Yeah,
I do that just for RC funds because he's like a Hubsan lover, so kind of want to keep a little
Hubsan corner. That's nice. Do you know what? I'm looking at yours. 50. You got the 50. Is it the 502S and the 502E?
Yes.
My 502S is still going 3 years in, and it's still flying on the same motor set. That thing just is dying. It sounds awful, but one day it's going to die. But yeah, I'm still pushing that little thing. Fair play. Bless it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's what it runs good. I think as long as you know to cut the motors off fast and whatnot, if it goes down, I think it'll last you a while. I think most people, when it flips over, they don't realize to kill the motors, and it just lays there and keeps spinning. I think that's what burns them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's a good eye to see that you actually knew it was an S and an E hanging over there.
And the funny thing
Yeah.
is, the E is mine, and I bought all kinds of extra parts for it and haven't had to change out a part yet.
Well, actually, the whole wall there is hers, but the SS I still fly every now and again.
What's
I
that like?
At first, and then it kind of ironed itself out. I had bad pigtails in the transmitter.
Okay.
Once I fixed that, it seemed like all the video issues and all went away, and I've taken that thing out and stretched its legs. Let me tell you, I was like, okay. People say the Hudson flies away. Let's see if it does. I took it and just pushed it. I kept it going until it returned itself back, and it clicked and returned itself home.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm trying to put a tracker on it, so we can track and see where they actually all go and fall.
that's a good idea. I should do that. Yeah, I do.
Down there showing off his bugs. Now, what's
Red
your
bugs,
true
I
opinion
see
of
you.
the Bugs 2 SE?
What was that, Crystal? Sorry.
I said Jim's down there showing off his red bugs.
That's lovely.
Now, what is your opinion, your true opinion of the Bugs 2 SE?
I like the SE. I've had issues with the video breaking up, but I come to expect it off Wi-Fi quads. Wi-Fi is just awful. But as a flying quad, I can't fault it. It flies great. I haven't had any issues with disconnections of satellites. I haven't had any issues with anything else apart from just the breakup of Wi-Fi. But then I was out quite far. I mean, as just a flying bird, it's the same as any other bugs. I think it just flies very well. Ah, lovely. The Bugs 3 or the Force 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lovely quad. That.
These,
I still have all of them.
What started it for me.
And now what we have, not the Bugs, but the Force 1, like the Bugs. That's the
Yeah, this one, the F100 goes.
No, what's the G? Like, we got the Force 1 right here. It's the Force 1, like the Bugs 2. What was that called?
The Scepter.
Scepter?
Yeah,
The Shadow 200.
there you go.
The Shadow 200.
Yeah, the Shadow 200 is it's basically this, but rebranded.
Basically the Bugs 2, yes.
Scepter is the B2C rebranded.
Yeah, Vampire. They can do a split S when they hit a tree and the arms fold backwards. But when I first got that one, I'm trying to think who sent that here to me now. I know too many people now. But, he sent it to me because the fact he didn't have room to fly it and whatnot. So I give it to Crystal right out the box. But with one, he told me there was one thing he wanted me to do. He wanted me to send that thing out. And he wanted to see exactly what it would do. I took and just put the transmitter, pointed the stick forward. No, the Shadow, and I just kept it going straight. Man, that thing, when I looked at the DVR footy, it was
Okay, great.
it was way out there. I was amazed by it, and I just hit return home, and it just came home and set transmitter on the ground. They're like, that thing is pretty cool. I'm like, yeah.
Amazing.
Jeez, my desk is
I
not.
can't think of his name. YouTube.
Can't I?
He's not been around in a while. Not shit. Flybar is who actually sent that to me. Mike Flybar. Sorry, Mike. I just know too many people now, bro. I gotta start thinking. Bam! There you go. Ain't saw that in a while.
What do I do? Oh, here it is, right in front of me.
But I want to get, I don't want to go out and start buying, I guess, the toy grade quad ones, but I just want to start bringing more of it like to the show, just because I think we have so many people in that so many direction. Like I'm off into the FPV freestyle racing thing. I still do the camera birds. I always keep my camera birds because I thought one day if I sold that Inspire, I could double this wall. But Yeah, I would miss it. I say, as much as I bitch about it, putting it together, but I would miss it once I got rid of it. And but yeah, so that's what I like to do instead of just trying to do it all. That's what we're trying to mix it up here now and try to bring in, bring in the night. You talked a little about the Xeno more. You talked about a couple birds, so that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, there's many different aspects to this. I mean, it could be, whereas I sort of look at it, I look at the whole of the RC hobby. If you just look at quadcopters itself, that is so diverse these days. Whether it's just FPV or cameras, or if you've got just the race quads or whatever it is, there's even if you just look at just the sub 250 gram market, there's loads out there. So many. Okay, some of them are bad, some of them are good. It's hit and miss. But there's just so many out there that you can get involved with. It's just worth absorbing the whole thing. I think that's half my trouble. That's why this room just looks like such a mess.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, to the fact that we had a lot of our viewers. I understand that the videos they get tired of watching the videos, and we're just flipping and rolling and tucking it, stuff like that. So that's why I want to kind of do the camera birds, give them some of that, give them some of the workbench, instead of just always videos of flipping and rolling. That's just what I do. I stay in that world.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, it's variety is key, isn't it? Variety is the key to is like the spice of life.
Right.
It keeps everybody enthused, keeps people coming back, and I think that's the thing. But your piloting skills have increased so incredibly over the past 12 months, and it's actually been really fun to go back and watch all of your videos to see exactly where you started from and where you're at now. I mean, it really is astounding. I'm sorry, I know I'm kissing your ass a bit here, but at the end of the day, I think it needs to be said. I really am in awe of the fact that you can just whack your goggles on and just do all that. If I try and do that, I end up falling over. My fat ass is on the floor. But, I think, but then again, I love line of sight. I always have done. I love that ability to be able to see, very large, very long distances.
And that's what so a lot of people, when I did start really getting into it, they were like, man, you have a gift. And really, I know I kind of have a gift of it because I picked up on it fast, but I did also kind of I had toy grade birds with little cameras on them flying around here with goggles, kind of like that. So once I got into this, it was just more like, wow, you can build a quad for how much versus spending and I haven't built no GPS birds yet, but that is coming. That's definitely a step that I'm definitely going to make, just the fact of doing it. But I don't know, like everyone tells me exactly what you tell me. They like to go back and watch my progression. Yeah. I like to see, and that's me. So I set out and I watch progression. That's what I try to. I want to see someone's progression, not just mine, because I don't know. I'm okay pilot, I call myself. I don't like to boast about how good I can fly because I feel none of us are better than none of us. It's all down to your style. What style do you do? My style is just what I do. I can change my styles up so much, and I've always been able to do that. Like anything I've ever been into, I could be the guy that walks down the street with the tuxedo on, or I could be the guy with the tattoos, just that kind of thing. And I kind of like doing that, so I'll get in a rhythm, and then I like to see other people that are following me and try to get in that rhythm, and you start to see your flight characteristics come out in theirs, just like I follow people that I do it with. Josh Withrow has put me so far in this game, like me just watching him and learning off of him and everything, and like that's how I learn, watching different pilots and watching their styles. I'll grab a piece from here, piece from there, piece from here, piece from there, piece from here, instead of just sticking with one pilot. And then I kind of just watch what they do. And I like when they leave the motor noise in. That helps me. I pick up on that. So you don't have to. Yeah.
That's key. You know exactly how much throttle percentage you should be applying. Yeah.
Here. Okay. But yeah, so that's how I basically picked up and got into it fast. I started out with the Waikara Runner 250. And if you guys know anything about that, that bird is trying to drive an 18-wheeler with your eyes closed, because it's terrible. It was a bird that had, when it come to speed, agility, everything, it was there. And think of flying a red brick. That's what it seemed like. And when you come down, you'd snap it around and go around a corner. It would just have so much. And I was so green back then. I didn't know, how to handle things. It'd come around, it'd go halfway across that field just for me to come around a little corner.
Yeah,
So
really.
speed and agility of it. So then when I got messing with these and understood that, hey, you can tune on these things, it's an amazing world. And anybody that doesn't do tuning yet, like, try the tuning of them. Like, you would be amazed. And don't mean just by PIDs. Like, you could not even mess with the PIDs. Just go into the RC rates, your super rate. Man, it's an amazing difference. Once you calm them down and get them not to be so aggravated, then you can become the pilot, and it just helps you out so much. I used to run 100% rates. I used to just go with it. Josh will tell you. I used to go out there and they're out there running like their tune rates or whatever. I'm out there just balls deep in it, just running full rates, smacking and everything, crashing, breaking stuff. But I was trying to teach myself to learn the sticks instead of actually going, hey, there's an easier way to doing this. And that's when Josh said, let me show you what you could make that quad do. And it's been the truth ever since then. And I just like, wow. Like now when I go out and fly a rig that's not tuned, I feel like totally different, like the new world or something. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we didn't.
Wiki RC crash style for me.
Yeah, you don't have to be the best pilot, and that's what like I said, you got your own style. There's some people fly loose and fast by the seat of their pants. I used to be that guy. I like more of a slow freestyle type thing, and I say that, and then I'm trying multi GP now, getting into that. So it's kind of, but it works hand in hand. If I'd say like kind of like when I rode motorcycles and dirt bikes. Everyone's like, "How did you get so good?" I could go at a track and just run it like a pro would run it. They're like, "How do you get that?" I said, first of all, respect the machine, and then you got it. Because when you're in full control of that quad, like today when I come dive in this hole here, that's my biggest worry. Smacking off of someone's house over here, through their windshield of their car, someone walking and the quad hit them, the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So now it's weird how like I found myself to where I correct myself a lot of times now, and it's like I'll do it and it's just like I know I just did it because I got the transmitter in my hand, but believe it or not, in that moment it's kind of like your muscle memory and everything just picks up, and it just helps you so much that you don't realize. And that's why I say fly, 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 fly. No matter what you're flying, fly, 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 and you will get that muscle memory, and then you will conquer any drone out there in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Practice makes perfect. If you've got a chance to fly. Even if it's indoors. The amount of indoor quads I've got. Exactly. Yeah. I whack on my goggles indoors. I've got my little red pepper. I've got a couple of 65mm quads behind me. As soon as like now, the wife is in Dublin for the weekend with her friends. I've been flying up and down the stairs. It's a great bit of fun.
It is.
It's a great bit of fun.
It will teach you a lot of muscle memory, like the whoops. Like I'll go out here in the front yard. It's the Beta 75X in acro. Yeah. I'll take that thing, a 2S pack, and I just run the heck out of it all around the trees real fast. And then I know the path I'm going, but I'm not kind of staying on something. It's just the fact of me moving that fast and being that around obstacles. And then it kind of works even when you get on the 5-inch. It's just like yourself because you kind of understand. Crystal was flying. She started actually FPV.
Nice.
And, the other day she's flying. I got to upload that for her.
Crystal's holding my footage hostage.
She tried on her iPad, but it won't allow her. So, but yeah, she started coming around, and I'm in the goggles with her. I'm like, no, left, pull, forward.
Yeah.
I knew the trees were behind her. It's just like weird that I know that area. I fly over there so much, I kind of know it. Even I don't even have to. I could probably close my eyes and walk all around over there and not even hit nothing, just because I'm that much fluent with it. And that's kind of like when I fly. A lot of people, they'll say, man, can you ever do anything besides a right roll? Well, I do that because I do it. It becomes second nature. So when it becomes second nature, I go to something else and I'll make that second nature. I'll just keep doing the same thing till my brain goes, okay, I know what you want us to do now. And that's how I think you can do it. And it takes time. It takes commitment. Like you have to.
John, can you say something in chat for our new people? And Chuck absolutely loves your man meme.
Thanks very much.
Man.
Yes, Vampire. He was definitely being a backseat pilot. The very first time I flew, he was and I just the quad went down, and I took the goggles off and I just looked at him. I said, "If you're gonna do that, I can't do this."
Yeah.
She picked the
I was
thing
like,
up
I can't do it because I have not flown in a while.
a while.
So for him to be as I'm trying to concentrate, I'm like, I can't. I can't do this.
Actually, I think the last thing she flew before she actually flew that was this.
No way.
Yep.
Amazing.
And I mean that was at Christmas, and before then it's been a good. It was the summer. Before that is when I had flown. Yeah. So it's been a while due to life changes and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Chris gets that enjoyment. He gets to fly. I've got everything else. So
What quad are you flying, Crystal?
I am now flying. It's a Meteor. This one.
A Space One Meteor. I had done a trade with RDFPV, and I had this set in here, and I was like, because if you noticed, you could put the kitchen sink through here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So I was gonna slam it and all that. I give him a wizard, trade him a wizard up for it, full acro, so he can get into learning the flipping and rolling the goggles. So I had this set in here, and I was like, well, what am I gonna do with it? I'm either gonna lower it down or tear it apart. Well, Crystal said a while back, she said, I was trying
Everybody
maybe
was
wanting
trying
to
to
fly.
get me to fly FPV, and I'm like, look, I'm not doing it until I get my own drone because I'm not crashing one of his. I'll never hear the end of
Oh,
it.
you'll never hear the end of it. Yeah, exactly.
Even if I bought the replacement parts and he rebuilt it, I would never hear the end of it.
Don't
So
blame
it was just, I'm not doing it.
So we're in a chat one day talking, right? And Baduga, he says, Chris, you need to shut her up for me, please. I said, I have you taken care of. I set the drone down on the chair. I have they're right here. They're actually Fat Shark.
The big ones.
Yeah, the box ones, right? My Diversity one's right. So I was like, I put the goggles there, and I give her a brand new Fly Sky i6X transmitter. I said, no more excuses. And she actually strapped the goggles on and went out, and she flown this thing in angle mode. Now we'll slowly get her into the acro, but she did very well. She did way better than what I expected. I expected probably a broken arm because they say these Space One Meteors are pretty, not all that sturdy, but nothing. She didn't. These are still the original props, and she's already been through 2 flights. So that's
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And her flights were roughly 5 to 6 minutes long because this thing is just where she flies in angle mode. She's just out there cruising around versus me. I'm a switch in acro and be upside down in the trees and all that. So it's amazing to see the difference in the battery when you do that. And she's just out there putting around and yeah, really cool. No cameras or nothing. I do it all through the DVR Fat Sharks, which gives a good playback. So we're doing that as far as footage right now because camera I don't want to put on there right now. She's smash it into the ground.
Hey.
I like the fact that it has these ears on here, right here. Kind of protects that camera if it does hit, and just different characteristics about it. It's got a dipole antenna, so it can hit the ground multiple times, not going to smash the antenna off of it. Our power is coming out the top, and we're putting our battery on top. So I usually put another strap around it. I just have it off right now, but usually 2 straps with the battery, cords all in. So her whole power is connected good to the rig itself, and It does very well.
Oh,
One day,
brilliant.
you're chasing me down the tree. So
I hear you. I'm not so sure about that, but who knows?
okay, so you gonna get the news, right?
I've got the news.
Okay, so Crystal usually does news every Friday night. We're gonna cut out at 9. John, I didn't know how long you wanted to hang out for. I know it's late there.
Oh, it's okay. I've been sinking caffeine for the past few hours. I'm just about to make another tea. I'm tired.
Usually we do the news at 8, but now it's 8:30, so she's gonna go ahead and get that in, and I'm gonna go out and sit in front of the air conditioner for a little bit. I am like roasting, or get me a bottle of water or something. This soda's not doing it.
So that's mine.
You ready? Got your Greg's ready? You always got yours ready. Greg's always ready. Yeah, Mama Fanny. She did, didn't she, Richard? She done better than
I
most.
surprised Chris, so
Yes, she
that
did.
made me feel really good.
I'm not gonna say you did better than Jim because he's sitting here,
Love you, Jim.
I crashed. Hey, I crashed better than you, so there's that.
but
Yeah, it's still
I
a
just
one
ripped-
piece for now. Knock on wood. So
That's my MO.
and Jim does have you there because people would rather watch crashes versus someone that does great. So.
sorry. Sorry, not my fault.
You're right.
You're good. I'm gonna go check on the kids. I'll be back.
Alrighty.
News.
In drone news, life-saving kidney delivered by drone. The drone had to be custom built. A donor kidney has now been delivered to surgeons at a U.S. hospital via drone in the first flight of its kind. Many see huge potential for unmanned aircraft systems delivering medical products, with some drone already doing so in Africa. The U.S. flight required a specially designed drone, which was to be able to maintain and monitor the organ. It is hoped that it can pave the way for longer flights and address safety issue with current transport methods. The recipient, a 44-year-old from Baltimore, has waited 8 years for this transplant. She said of the very unusual delivery method, "This whole thing was amazing. Years ago, this was not something that you would even be able to think about." According to the United Network for Organ Sharing, which manages organ transplants in the U.S., in 2018, there were nearly 114,000 people on waiting list, with 1.5% of organs not making it to the destination and nearly 4% being delayed by 2 hours or more. Delivering an organ from a donor to a patient is a sacred duty with many moving parts. It is critical that we find ways of doing this better, said Joseph Scalia, assistant professor of surgery at University of Maryland School of Medicine, and one of the surgeons who performed the transplant. As a result of this outstanding collaboration among surgeons, engineers, and Federal Aviation Administration, organ procurement specialists, pilots, nurses, and ultimately the patient, we were able to make a pioneering breakthrough in transplantation.
Actually, Dr. Scalia did Crystal's
What are you
dad's
doing?
kidney surgery.
Yes, the doctor who did this transplant is the doctor who actually technically saved my dad's life with his kidney
Amazing.
surgery. So, and it's the same hospital. So it really struck home. And what was extremely cool was this transplant happened to be done on my birthday. So,
Amazing.
but they waited. They brought it out in the news that it was being done and that the journey was successful, but they had to wait to see if the actual organ was going to take hold. And so far, knock on wood, everything's going great. So, and this drone flew a 3-mile journey. So it's not like it just went a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, it went from one hospital to another, 3 miles, and it only took. There was also a parachute recovery system just in case the aircraft failed. But literally, it went 3 miles in 8 minutes. So, guys,
Wow.
the future is here. The future is in our drones. And if it only takes 8 minutes now to save somebody's life, I mean, that is the future. And that is the good in drones. In other news, the colony of fur seals on Phillip Island, just off Australia's southern coast, is large and not particularly easy to count. While millions of tourists visit the scenic destination every year, tracking the animal population on the remote Seal Rock section of the island has long been a challenge for biologists. Traditionally, tallying these seals required several researchers rowing out and visually confirming the inhabitants. The manual process wasn't completely accurate and could be distracting to the lounging locals. In the past several years, a new overseer has taken on this challenge. A drone hovers above the herd, capturing images of the shaggy sunbathers. Counting the fur seals with a small unmanned aerial vehicle is much quicker than transporting researchers by boat to the same site, explains a senior lecturer at Monash University, who leads a team that tracks the seal rock population as well as Australian seabirds. An animal survey that used to take 1 to 2 days now can be completed in under an hour. The footage gives us a much better insight into population change over time when compared with a more traditional and much more labor-intensive ground count. Drones also create less disturbance. As you get used to using the smaller, off-shelf quadcopters, the disturbance levels are really quite small. While drones are often associated with action sports videos or military maneuvers, biologists and ecologists are finding unmanned flying vehicles and underwater robots can be excellent assistants. Thanks to machine learning and other technological advancements, drones are helping to clarify ways in which climate change is altering the Earth and, in some cases, directly combating ecological problems. Clark's team is helping to develop onboard software that will also be able to detect the bright green fishing net seals occasionally get wrapped up in. If we can detect seals in real time, we can make appropriate decisions about proper response. If a cluster of seals gets entangled, it may make sense to then put a boat in the water to fix the problem. Drones' abilities to access remote areas make them particularly invaluable to scientists and researchers trying to understand how changes in weather patterns are affecting rainforest, mountain air, and underwater ecosystems. Cornell University researchers have used drones to measure surface reflectivity, logging how much solar energy a landscape reflects and absorbs. A team of scientists from the University of Nottingham employed UAVs to survey climbing vine plants and to better understand how they can affect the carbon balance of a tropical rainstorm. The president of the drone operations management software company Skyward notes how drones are being used for climate change related emergencies. As climate change continues to take a toll on the built world, we've seen public utilities, insurance companies, and engineering firms come to rely on drones as key tools for inspecting essential infrastructure to the immediate aftermath of a disaster, as well as for ongoing mapping of coastlines and flood-prone areas, and now also for keeping counts of live animals. More drones for the good. In other news, drone owners to be charged an annual fee under the new proposals. Every drone and model aircraft owner in the UK could be charged £16.5 a year under plans by the aviation regulator. The Civil Aviation Authority is consulting on introducing a licensing fee to cover the cost of operating the new drone registration scheme. From November, drone owners would have to register their details on a database, and drone flyers would complete a free online safety test. But a drone membership organization claimed the charge was far too high. The plans would affect anyone who owns a drone that weighs more than 250 grams, or 8 ounces. Face it, guys, the only drones that are mainly weighing under that are Whoops and possibly some 3 inches. If you're going anything bigger than that, it's going to be affected. Only those aged 18 would be able to register as an official drone owner. There would be no fee for remote pilots, those who fly the drones, but are not registered owners. The CAA has launched a consultation on the proposals with a final decision expected by the regulator in July. The number of drone users in the UK is unknown, but the CAA estimates 170,000 people will register. New EU rules will mean each member state will hold a national register of drone users from next year. A similar registration scheme in France is free, and in the US costs $5, or £3.84, and in Ireland cost £4.31. But the CAA says the schemes are part or wholly subsidized by the taxpayer. The government has provided funding for the development cost of the new drone registration scheme, but the CAA said it would have to recover the expense of running, maintaining, and updating it. The regulator said it was keeping the charge as low as possible, and that it may increase or decrease in future years, depending on the number who register. But the FPV UK Association, which represents 4,000 flyers, says it strongly opposes the charge, which is said was far too high. Criminals aren't going to register, so the safe and compliant people are the ones listed in the database, the group's chief executive Simon Dale said. He added that the group would be calling on members to write their MPs, the aviation minister, and the CAA to oppose the plans. A photographer from the Peak District who runs the Drone Loss blog said the fee risks discouraging people from taking up the hobby. Excellent point. From a female perspective and an education point of view, drones are a brilliant tool for getting young women, girls, and boys into STEM subjects, she said. She welcomed the idea of a registration scheme, but said the CAA should focus on providing better guidance for drone operators. She said the drone industry as a whole has always said that we need a registration process and an education program that says this is where you can fly. But when you read the rules online, it is difficult to interpret. The 33-year-old runs a club in which members race around an indoor course. It said the cost could be off-putting for people flying drones. If anything, this fee will deter people. I think they are trying to make it not so popular because of the commercial opportunities. That airspace is so valuable for commercial drones, whether it's delivery, agriculture, or security, and it will be important for policing and any of the emergency vehicles. By charging unjustifiable pricing, they're trying to suppress it because otherwise it would be chaos. But Gemma Alcock, whose company Skybound Rescuer advises emergency services on how they can best use drones for search and rescue operations and for other forms of emergency response, welcomed the CAA's proposals. I think operator registration is vital for accountability to hopefully deter drone operators from misuse. I understand and appreciate that in order for the CAA to develop and maintain this registration service, a fee from operators is needed, and 16.5 pounds is, in my eyes, a reasonable amount. I think it is a positive step forward. Now, my question is, JD, what is your feelings on that? Because that is going to directly influence you, and your rules have already changed quite a bit and a lot faster due to some incidences that still have yet to be proven.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I got a bit to say about this, but I'm going to keep it as non-angry as possible.
No, babe, bring your true feelings.
Personally,
because this is going to affect you all. And
yeah,
just
it is.
they tried
It is.
with the RC registration
Mm.
and knocking you all down in the parks. I mean, your laws are changing very fast, and they're
Yeah.
changing all about RCs, be
Yeah,
it
yeah.
ground vehicles, be it now in the air. It's almost like they're directly targeting you all.
Well, ground is okay still for the minute. I mean, there's no restriction there for now. I mean, if we look back, I'm just talking about where I live, just in the city of Bristol. Look back 2 years ago, the Bristol City Council decided that they would block all quadcopter flights and model aircraft flights in all but 2 parks, right? Now, these parks, these aren't small. These are big, big expanses of green area, right? And I can understand it if there are dog walkers or anything like that, yes. But there are often times where dog walkers don't go to certain places within these big grounds, which is fine for, like, say, whoop flights or anything like that. Now, getting back onto the CAA, I'm fortunate I've got a very good job. So the £16.50 doesn't really bother me. I'll be perfectly blunt and say I'll pay that all day long. My concern was in so much that if I had to register all of my quads. Now, that was my concern. If there was a monetary value associated to everyone, even if it was £5 per quad, I'm still talking probably about £150 I'd have to give up to register every one of my quads. But now, as it's £16.50, I'll happily pay that. But I do know that a lot of people in the UK are very concerned that that is going to increase. Now, our politicians are single-minded bigots that just run around and they just rape this country of everything that makes the UK great, and they've made us a laughingstock. And
I think that's every country's politician system, my dear. I think every country goes through that.
Yeah, I think so, and I think as I'm getting older, I'm getting more angry. but I think to be perfectly honest with you, I honestly think if they're going to run this hobby, right, and they're going to charge people for the privilege of flying at £16.50, fine. But if it increases exponentially every single year, so say £5 one year, then a tenner the next year, and then £15 the next year, then people are going to be priced out of the market. If you take a very small end quad, which is over £250, you're going to be paying, 250 grams, you're going to be paying, say, the average price of $70 to $100 for argument's sake, right? Now, by the time you register that, maybe that one person has saved up for a couple of months to buy that. That is their sole quad. Then they've got to then pay for the privilege to fly it. It's going to put people off. Now, I am waiting for the time that they're going to start to bring in laws for ground vehicles, because I've got a couple of cars here which are over 100 miles an hour. I mean, my X-Max is 70. The new one that I've got, which is going live next week, is 85. You know, there are all these other ones, but so far they've left them alone. Now, if the CAA is clever about this, it could make a lot of money and keep us hobbyists very, very happy at the same time. But everybody wants to buy the airspace above our heads.
Exactly.
The problem with that is, how can they use the airspace above us if they've banned us from using that airspace? It doesn't make sense. It's moronic. It's tunnel-minded, and it just doesn't make any sense. So what they've already done by banning everybody from flying in parks and public areas is they've already taken away that £16.50 that they would charge for people. So, you know, at the minute, it just seems like another tax, another thing to pay, another way for us free people to have some sort of life. And do you know what? I'm sick of it. The minute I can afford to buy an island, I'm going to buy a goddamn island. And you know what? I will swim there if I have to. You know, I'm sick of it. I am absolutely sick of it. You know, in my short years, this country has changed from, and I know I'm probably going to get some backlash for this, and I'm sorry if anybody thinks different, but this changed from the country that I love to the country that I'm mortifiedly ashamed of. I really am. At the minute.
Great stuff.
I honestly don't believe you're going to get any backlash at all from anyone here, my dear. But I totally agree with what the one blog lady said. You know, the criminals are not going to pay this.
No,
So,
they're not. They're really not.
you know, you're still going to have people that do what they want to do. If you
Yeah.
think a tax is going to stop that,
No.
you're totally mistaken.
No.
So,
Yeah. And that's it. The criminals aren't going to pay. And do you know where we see that? We see that everywhere. In your country, in my country, in everyone's country. Tax evasion.
yep,
Millionaires don't pay tax. Why
exactly.
don't they pay tax? They've got bloody money. You know, and it's all of us that have got to mop up after them. Oh, man. God, do you know what? This just drives me mental. Why have I got to pay 40% tax? Why? You know, when these people are earning 8 times as much as I am, and they're not paying anything. Starbucks. Do you know what I mean?
You see the different, for instance, like Canada. Just because you live in Canada, you have to pay more from a company that I can buy something for. I understand the shipping. But
Yeah.
I don't, because we're literally connected. Okay, there's not like if you're in New York, there's not much space in between you and Canada.
yeah,
Why is it going to charge one thing to come into the U.S. and then 5 times the amount to go into Canada?
Exactly.
It's not right.
Now, with
Go through. You know, you guys over there, custom grab.
Oh,
you gotta
customs,
pay
they
taxes on it.
Eat things
Oh.
quickly.
It's like wow. I mean, I guess there's so much stuff that we don't know about. Maybe that moves through those kind of packages. That's why they're nosing into them. But I feel like it's just more than being nosy.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, about a year and a half ago, I'm not going to name the company because I know you're all going to know who I'm talking about. I bought some things from overseas, and as you're looking at a map, not towards the US but towards China, and when my stuff came into the country, and the company in question had mislabeled or mispriced the shipping. So when DHL brought it in and then it was weighed at customs, I ended up having to spend £120 to bring 2 things over, 1 car and 1 quad, that ended up costing, you know, like £300 for a £100 vehicle. You know, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy, and I had to pay that. And I went to this company and said, "You owe me money because this is you know your screw up. I paid you, now you've got to pay me." And they said no, so I stopped buying with them.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it just that annoyed me so much. And it's any small thing they will, and it's like the CAA with us, the FAA with you, or whatever. You guys get charged $5, we get charged £16.50. How the hell do you work that out?
Exactly.
Exactly. And there's a big company, I'm not going to say the name of it, but they are in the same boat. They are in Hong Kong. They do not pay their proper taxes like they should for the company that they pay. So when they do it, they lie to customs. And so you say you buy $125 stack, now it's only like $52 on the paper, and it's like, wait a minute, where did the rest of that go that I just paid you that you're not registering? So and I think that's what causes the problem. So then that just starts piling up, and then customs understands that, I think, and that's how they just start every package they just want to make people pay double on or whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ed, honey, I have to say, they may have quote unquote free health care, but they technically pay harsh for it, my dear. That just like homie Paul said, that is a misnomer. That is so incorrect. It is not what most people here think. Right. And the only reason I know that is because of my girlfriends over there. We've had this discussion. And they're like, no, you are so misinformed, it's unreal. And they educated me very quickly.
I haven't got a pay slip here, but I was going to show you. What we get, so we get our pay, and then we have tax deducted, and then we have national insurance deducted. Now, when Ira Bevan started the NHS, the National Health Service, it was his vision that the NHS would come out of everyone's pay, regardless of job, and it would be a percentage of your salary per month. That would then go back into the hospital service. And we're still paying national insurance, but yet the government is strangling our NHS, and they're not giving the money that we're giving to them. And they're selling bits off left, right, and centre, and leaving people in the country to die.
Yeah.
And they get away with it.
That's the thing that gets me. Say, perfect example. One of my girlfriends her father has a heart condition, and because of the way their healthcare is, he can't see a heart doctor for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and there is no run to the emergency room and it's taken care of. It's not like that.
No, I mean, I just look back. So I've got quite a lot of psychological problems. One of them being bipolar disorder, and when I go back, say 5 years ago, I could get an appointment like that within a week. I could rock up. They would say, "What's your name?" Right, my name's John. Right, go and sit over there, and you'll get called. And then I got called, and the GP, the doctor in turn, would want to know everything. They'd look over your notes. They would go through everything. Right? And how are you? What's your diet? Have you exercised? Have you had any episodes? How's everything gone? Nowadays, you rock up, you got to wait 3 weeks, then you get in, and the doctor hasn't read anything. They look at you and they say, right, okay, what's up? Oh, this is what's wrong. There we are. Pills. I don't want pills. Well, then you just got to suffer. And I understand their point of view. They are worked to the bone. They really are. And a lot of our NHS staff have left since this bloody Brexit nonsense, and people aren't taking up. I mean, just one example. A friend of mine left the company I used to work in. He became an EMT, right? How much are EMTs paid? Now, their role is vital in getting to people who have, any sort of accident. It's vital that these people get to them.
Right.
He's paid 10 grand. That's it. I'm in IT, and I'm on 5 times as much. That's wrong.
Yep.
He's paid 10 grand. That
To be a
what the hell
lifesaver.
is that? He's a professionally trained person who is saving people's lives.
Yep.
And he's paid that. How in any way, shape, or form is that? Sorry, I'm going totally off on a tangent here. How is that in any way fair?
Right.
People are just filling their pockets with money, and everybody else is dying. That's what's happening.
Yep.
And that's not an over-exaggeration. People are homeless. People are dying. And yet there are houses which are vacant.
Yeah.
Where's people's humanity? Why has it got to be that all of us can see what's happening, and yet they're not doing anything?
Yeah, that's like this morning on news. So the what is it? The Derby winning horse, they're now selling his poo in a jar for $200 a jar. It's like,
what?
And people are buying
and
this.
people are
My
buying
God.
it. It's like you said, we have people dying and starving. It's like, wait a minute, why can't you take that and put that into something else instead of shit, more or less? 'Cause
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
yeah, welcome.
But that's literally every country. It's not just yours. It's literally every country. I mean, they don't look at the real people.
No, I mean now I don't know if your country is the same. I know a little bit of what goes on, but I'm not going to start talking about it because I'll get it all wrong, and I don't want to insult anyone or anything like that.
Hey,
I mean,
the way I look at it is it's everybody's opinion, and who says your opinion is wrong? You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
you have experience in your life, so your opinion is not wrong.
Yeah. Oh, but that's kind. I mean, from my point of view, it's a simple thing where we now have career politicians. We don't have anybody who is a politician from 20 who sees it right the way through until they retire. Now we have politicians that come up and they are a politician for 5 years. They make as much money as possible, and then they move away. There's no love there for the game anymore. It's awful. But there we are. I'm gonna start pooping in a jar. I bet I could. Yeah. So drones, yeah, CAA bad, drones good. There we are.
Yep.
So what's the difference rate? So 16 and a half
Hold on.
pounds versus
It's about $20 in American, I think, $18-20. So yeah, it's like double, triple. It's triple what you pay.
just keep it out there for now.
Did you say lettuce?
On mine, yeah.
That was like a red days on Silver Lake, and I was like,
Not on his.
that doesn't look
It doesn't
like
matter. We take
lettuce.
it off.
Oh, you're fine.
It's not. I did it right.
Marsha.
Rusty went and picked up dinner for us tonight, so
Cheddar bread.
Nice.
that's fine. Let's see.
He said it's $20.
Oh, okay.
I don't want that. It's warm.
And that's what I'm thinking they're going to end up doing, raising it up on us. I thought they would with all the rules, but all the rules changes.
Is it the same with you guys then? Just $5 and then that's it, any quad, any weight?
$5, yeah, you get
For
one,
now.
you get one registration number, and that's it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
put that on, and whatever. That's what represents you. That number. So when something goes wrong, you know. They look at
Hi,
that
drone
number,
worship. No
and they know
tablet
it's you.
face tonight, babe. And
Hey,
and
drone worship.
I can handle 31 bunnies.
31 bunnies. That would be fun.
Just put him down.
I'm putting him up in
No, you're not. Leave him alone.
a bag of drugs.
No, just don't touch. I don't want them broken. I use those every day at work. He's Jackie.
We didn't see that vampire. We don't know what you're talking about. We are not witnesses. Night Train. Hey, babe. Saw you pop in while I was doing news.
Hi, what's up, Night Train?
Hey, Night Train.
Guys, we're actually going to end this at 9 because actually Russell just came back with dinner, so right on time.
Oh, that's the cost, Paul? 31 of those rabbits. Wow. That's crazy.
Oh,
Uh-huh. 31 of those. Wow.
holy cow! And $1, right?
That's $5. It's $5 per quad.
He said it's 9. Yeah, we can tell time.
Mhm.
All right, guys. We appreciate all of you hanging out with
Bob
us.
Iker, we're getting ready to cut it
Bob,
off,
hey,
brother.
babe. JD, we really appreciate you hanging out with us. I know 5 hours ahead of us, so you've been late nighting it for us.
That's okay. Thanks for having me back on. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, it is
No problem.
always a pleasure to have you on, my dear. And it's so nice to be able to compare. You know, we all have a love of drones or a love of RCs, and nothing holds us back from that.
Yeah.
That's the good thing. We're all able to share and
No.
love going internationally. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Later, Dan.
It's always fun to see what you guys are up to as well in the US with your drone laws and stuff like that, and how that's different to what we have over here. Even though there's not really much difference anymore.
Gotcha.
well, that's what I told Chris. I said, I want to get with some of our Canadian friends and have them on one night and discuss how theirs have changed as well, because they have to be licensed now. So,
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
and their laws have changed very rapidly as well. More or less, the U.S. is the one that's lagging behind, but they didn't just hear me say that. But it's kind of nice to be able to keep up on all of that. And that is the one thing that the Drone Network and YouTube has been able to do for that, is to keep us all united with our hobby and with our love of that. So I really, really, truly appreciate you guys. And stay tuned next week. We have a special guest coming next week as well. And that one's going to be a surprise.
Thanks, Richard.
You guys have to wait and see. Yeah, Chuck's in love with your beard, John.
Thanks very much.
Chuck,
I was thinking of cutting it off.
Oh, you'll break his heart. Yum, Alvin. Hawaiian pizza.
Guys, we appreciate you. Appreciate your time.
Yes,
Cheers,
indeed.
Thanks, Lewis. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you all for hanging out with us, and we will catch you guys next week. Make sure to check out JD's channel. He'll always give you a heads up what's going on during the week. And we will see you guys. Jim, are you doing a hangout tomorrow night?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing a hangout tomorrow night.
We'll see you all over on Sinister's channel tomorrow night, 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central.
Cool beans.
I break
And
it.
then
Bye.
we'll see you back here on Monday. So until then, guys, love
Thank
y'all.
Thank you guys. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
guys, for
Cheers,
hanging out with us.